you mentioned having an edited version of sort of what the initial design was. I think that's super helpful because when like if somebody's like offering you, or like if you see a shirt or something that you really like, and somebody's like, great, I also have this alternative, and you put them side by side, all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
that once you see the disconnect between like, wait, this, I see what you're saying now. This is doing something counter to what I actually want to have. Because I think the great thing about design is that once you come in, there's an agreed upon final goal. You agree on the exact goal, and now you're just designing the pathway to it. Because like McDonald's ultimate goal is to get you to eat their food. The design of the driveway and that experience is where the design comes in, right?
Yeah, totally. That's such a good point. Yeah, yeah, and that's a great illustration because let's take that McDonald's drive-through as
Yeah.
just like a metaphor here. So we're you're on the one hand there is the designing the experience for how drive-throughs work for McDonald's in general. I would call that product design to a
Yep.
large degree. It's probably service design and experience design on a lot of things. Well, just for the sake of this conversation, let's call it product design. So
Yep.
the drive-through is my product offering, right? Like I am the product owner of drive-throughs for McDonald's. So within that, like there are a lot of challenges that can come up with drive-throughs. Some of them are larger. How do we get people to the McDonald's with the drive-throughs that are new and have the new fancy thing or whatever? And how do we help them understand that that's available to them? How do we, help them? There's this discoverability element. Um, Once you're there, we can think about the drive-through itself as a funnel, as like a conversion funnel. So I start the drive-through, I get in line, I have not paid any money. McDonald's wants me to pay as much money as I can by the time I come out. I'm just making a base assumption. Maybe that's not their goal there,
Right.
but for the sake of simplicity. Okay. We see that on average, customers at, between breakfast hour and lunch hour on like the downtimes are spending 50% less in general. And we want to try and increase that to X percent, drop that to 25% less or
Right.
something. We want to cut that drop in half. We know based on research and blibbity blobbity that people really need like a breakfast milkshake.
Yep.
So we're gonna make a breakfast milkshake, and that should help drive-throughs. Well, I'm over the drive-through. I'm not over milkshakes, but I know that this milkshake is a big goal to help people get through, and there's no dedicated milkshake messaging or
Right.
milkshake idea in our drive-throughs right now, and we're anchoring on this. So how can I improve my drive-through to get X percentage more people to buy these milkshakes?
Yep.
And so now we're in sort of like funnel conversion, and I
Yeah.
don't really know how well a drive-through translates to like a web funnel or an application funnel because you have a lot of off ramps, and often once you're in a drive-through, like you better order something or you're just going to have to tell them never mind. But if we're talking about the menu, maybe that is okay. We got people to buy milkshakes, and now we want to drop that up, so we remove that drop in percentage between breakfast and lunch completely, and we can do that if they get a milkshake and a toy. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up,
Right.
but like, okay, cool, so let's optimize. And now you're getting into user experience design and UI design. How do we
Right.
design that menu so that the milkshake really stands out? Oh, maybe if we have these new digital menus, we can take over the real estate in this top corner that has this ad for breakfast sandwiches. They're still serving them, but it's going down. Everybody always asks if we have breakfast. They want breakfast. We don't necessarily have to signal that we do have it. They're going to ask. Let's signal the milkshake so that they'll buy that instead. So like that's just a very crude sort of example of how those things all kind of work together and group down. And it's not hard to imagine if you're working in a smaller company or a really small company, as a designer, as a product designer, you're going to touch all that.
Absolutely.
You're going to be involved in all that. And it can be super fun, and it can be extremely overwhelming and daunting as well. It's sort of it really depends on your own attitude, honestly, and how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.